Hey, we're doing it live. It is the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Today is Thursday, December 14th. I'm Doc. That's Rick. We are getting ready to talk about fantasy hoops. And a guy named Wemby went nuts last night right after this sweet jam.
It is Rick Kamla. It is Steve Alexander, a.k.a. Dr. A. We're the OGs. This is the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Doc, you had me absolutely cracking up through that whole open right there. I love a Dr. A cold open. It's different, man. But you the man, how you doing, dude? Let's get back to work here. Let's have some fun. The people are already filing in here. We got Clarence Beeks. We got Free Key. We love y'all, man. Keep coming in here, ask us questions. We'll field those questions. But how the hell are you, dude?
Well, a Dr. A cold open is a very special thing because I do absolutely no thinking about it or what I'm going to say until I'm actually live and on the air. So anything can actually happen in those. And they're usually, I don't know. They're funny. How you mean funny? Like funny, haha. Anyway, Draymond Green is making noise. I'm okay, man. My voice, I did a little regimen, get my voice in order for the show. I've got at least 40 minutes in me. So let's roll.
Let's roll, man. Let's roll. All right, let's start with this Draymond thing. Let's at least touch on Wemby and Davis, even if it's, I mean, we can't offer you a lot of fantasy advice with these guys. They're both sensational, okay, but maybe we can ooh and ah about it a little bit. But Draymond Green, guys, has been suspended indefinitely by the NBA for obviously clubbing Nurkic upside the dome the other night with the closed hand, with the open hand. Another ruthless, stupid, senseless, violent act by Draymond Green. It better be 20 games, okay, before they let him back in and let him out of the penalty box. Ja Morant got 25 games for a second infraction. Draymond Green has 487 infractions, okay? He needs to sit in the penalty box for at least 20 games. I'm not saying he should never play again. I'm not saying that he should miss the rest of the season, although I wouldn't be mad at that ruling. I would get it. But I'm tired of Draymond in this MMA bull crap. Doc, I am not a fight game guy, okay? I used to be big into boxing with Tyson and Sugar Ray and Thomas Hearns and all those legends, man. Boxing doesn't do it for me anymore. None of those other sports. Like, we're stomping on a dude's face and he's bleeding out. What are we doing here? And it's in Vegas and there's hotties everywhere. Like, what are we freaking doing here, man? I don't get it. Anyway,
random. So is the 487 infractions the actual number, or is that a guesstimate?
It's a sarcastic number.
Dude, it might be accurate though.
It's actually not that far off. I should have gone with like 1,975, right? That would have been like, all right, now you're just being funny. Wow, Doc actually thought that 487 might be the actual number here of infractions by Draymond Green. Who knows? If you include off the court stuff, and who the hell knows? But Doc, I wanted to get that off my chest. If you want to attack the suspended indefinitely thing and go down that road at all, do it. Or we can spin it and talk about fantasy basketball beneficiaries of Draymond going bye-bye for a while.
Well, and not only fantasy, like let's count the ways this makes people's lives better, all right? Steve Kerr does not have to deal with Draymond Green for the next month or however long. He's got to be feeling good about that. Steph Curry does not have to deal with Draymond Green or the distractions that come with it. Zach Wiggum, one of my best friends, texted me last night. He's like, Draymond Green out indefinitely. I can finally cut him and sleep at night. So fantasy managers, right? They get to drop Draymond Green. They feel better. We get to watch the Warriors and get to see guys like Jonathan Kuminga and our boy Pajemski go out there and ball out now because Draymond's not out there slowing down the offense and clogging up the middle and ruining our nights. Like, everybody wins, Rick. Literally everyone wins.
I like the take, and I like how you spun us around really the basketball universe right there. Now, Steve Kerr is all butthurt and boo-hoo about this, right? I mean, he is the Draymond whisperer. He is the biggest to blame for the enabling of Draymond Green and the creation of this monster that we now have, and enabling that has been co-signed by the NBA. Let's remember, people, Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole in practice, a punch that Poole didn't see coming. He sucker punched him, okay? The Warriors fined him internally. We still don't know that number. They didn't suspend him. The NBA could have suspended him. They did not suspend him, okay? So the NBA is culpable here as well in terms of co-signing. I'm not saying the NBA wants this behavior, but the NBA should have banged on Draymond Green well before this indefinite suspension. Okay, so I want to make a point here, Doc, about some beneficiaries and stuff like that. Jonathan Kuminga and Chris Paul, okay? Specifically starting here with Chris Paul. I traded him to Ken Kreitz, the K train, in the Cam dynasty, and that move has not gone my way. I traded him because Draymond came off of the Gobert suspension, and I knew that Paul is not the same dude when Draymond is there. They don't need as much from him, okay? Wasn't in finishing lineups for the team, and so it was weird, right? So I traded him to Kreitz, and thinking that Draymond would be back and playing and hub of offense and all that kind of stuff. That ain't happening, guys. Chris Paul is now going to be the hub of the offense, okay? I don't know if he's going to start. We'll find out tonight against the Clippers, but it doesn't matter. He's going to play 30-plus minutes. He is going to finish games, okay, like he did the other night in the who'd they played? Was it Phoenix the other night? It was the Nurkic. Like he did the other night. He was with the finishing group. And so I think Chris Paul, Doc, is going to flirt with double-doubles, give you 3, 4, 5 rebounds, give you, 1 to 2 steals. The 3-ball was a disaster in the first few weeks of the season. He's now got that dialed in. The middies where he comes off the screen and gets you going downhill and pulls back, with that little fade away from the free throw line. He's back in rhythm on that. And so I think Chris Paul's totally ready to go here. And Jonathan Kuminga, Doc, he's very light in the blocks and rebounds, and it drives me crazy because you're long and you're an athletic dude, okay? He's got to ramp up that part of his game. But this is a guy that's going to flirt with 20 points every night here without Draymond.
Yeah, I think for me, my pickups is Podziemski first. And mainly, this is what have you done for me lately? That game that Draymond got thrown out of, Podziemski had a great game. He had a double-double. Scored more than 20 points. 3 weeks ago, you were like, time to pick up Podziemski and roll with him. Well, now it officially, I think, is. I think every single Warrior benefits from the absence of Draymond Green, really, from top to bottom. But I like Podziemski quite a bit. I think Kuminga, we're finally going to get to see Kuminga play, at least. And I'm with you. His big man stats are light. He plays more like a shooting guard than a power forward, but he looks kind of like a power forward. So I wish he was more aggressive and used his body more. And then I think Dario Saric, homie, is gonna get some run. And all 3 of those guys, all 4, everybody we've talked about, I think is worth a look, at least if they're sitting on the waiver wire.
Yeah, the Chris Paul thing was maybe just food for thought, right? He's not on waivers. But if you have him, I mean, you are going to, you've really stepped in, not a pile, but you've stepped in a pot of gold here. Chris Paul's going to be fantastic. Now, just quickly here on Anthony Davis and Victor Wembanyama. And, a lot of times in the NBA these days, they hide players on defense, for all the soft wussification stuff. And we have switching, right? So we don't always get the point guard matchup we want and all that. Okay, well, we got it last night. Anthony Davis against Wembanyama, and Victor is now the center for the San Antonio Spurs, and they were playing against each other, driving into each other, fouling each other, making shots over each other. Oh, my God, was that fun last night, Doc. AD hit him with 37 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 steals. Wemby went 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 blocks, okay? Wemby hit a 3. Where's my note here? 104 to go. Hit a step back 3 over Davis to make it a 4-point game. Here we come. And obviously they had a chance to tie on a Wemby 3 that missed. But, Doc, that was the good stuff, man. NBA TV should take that one. Their game of the day that they replay or the marquee matchup or whatever. That was entertaining, delicious basketball, dude.
Yeah, and I had Wemby in a FanDuel lineup. I think he had 70.6 points.
Oh my God.
I also had Keyonte George in that lineup. He had -2 points because he went down with an ankle after just 2 turnovers right at the beginning of the game. Wemby was enough to overcome a -2 from one of my 9 players to have me win money. So,
oh wow,
I was pretty fired up. I love Wemby. I drafted him everywhere. He's on my 30 deep team. He's on my main rock and roll team. He's on all my teams. And he's the first round. Him and Chet both are just balling out. It's awesome to see.
Wemby.
Oh, by the way, did you see AD go down with that ankle sprain?
Yeah, I did. I did.
How he's laying on the ground, like banging the court, and it looked like I can't believe he got up, Rick.
Well, he's different. Okay. This year he's different. He's got this hip injury that's been going on a few weeks, right? He just talked about it. He tweaked it again the other night against Dallas. He's playing through it. What you're watching here, guys, is competitive greatness. What you're watching is a guy who's tired of the narrative around him and he wants to smash it in a million pieces. This is the good stuff. This stuff should be applauded right here. We've got all these guys missing all of these games. And I know Davis has been a huge part of that thing over the last few years. But Doc, obviously we follow the bouncing ball every night for every team. But the Lakers are a team that I don't miss a minute of games. Okay. The Nuggets, who else is on that list? Why am I blanking on this? So watch the Bucks every night, the Giannis Dame thing. Anyway, the Lakers are one of the Warriors, right? Just to kind of watch the car crash every night. Anyway, let's move on to some stuff here. It's Rick Hamla. It's Steve Alexander, Dr. A, right here with you guys on the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. We are the OGs. Now, Doc, take us a little farther here on Keyonte George. You've been very hot on him. I'm hanging in there for dear life. In a keeper league, I've wanted to drop him because I've got kind of a glut of point guard and shooting guards. And I don't want to drop Keyonte, and I still have it. But now I've only got one IL spot in that league. It's not my league. It's somebody else's league. But it's like the waiver wire is really rich in this league, right? They want to have that churn and burn. And so I may be sending Keyonte back to waivers unless you reel me in here and say, no, for the love of God, don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I haven't even looked into the injury that much. He is not traveling with the Jazz for their upcoming 2-game road trip.
Read that RotoWire report. Read that RotoWire blurb, Dr. A.
That includes Thursday with the Trailblazers and Saturday with the Kings. That is automatic. Like, this is crunch time. You need these games this weekend. Everybody plays 4 times this week. Like, you missed 1 game from Keyonte last night. Now you're going to miss 2 more. That's a 1-game week, and it was a bad 1 game. If you can afford to drop him, the teams that play 3 times the rest of the way, I picked up Jabari from Portland. Jabari.
Oh, I was like, you picked up Jabari Smith? What kind of league is that? Yeah, Jabari Walker from Portland.
Portland plays 3 times, and I think the Warriors were the other team that still has 3 games left this week. I went to pick up some Warriors, and they were all gone, man. That my wire has been picked clean. But I think if he's out the next 2 games this week, and you're trying to win a head-to-head matchup this week, you drop him and you move on.
Guys, here's the thing. This is a very unusual league I'm talking about here. Okay, we have a 10-man roster, and we start 5 guys. PG, SG, SF, PF center. Okay. With no utils, no forwards and guards. It's very bare bone. Okay. It's like an old school fantasy football league without PPR, right? Okay. So I joined this league and I'm currently cooking it. I've got Trae Young and De'Aaron Fox. I've got Jamal Murray. I've got Ausar Thompson, Keyonte George, Malcolm Brogdon. So you can see that I don't have room for all these guys. And now George, I don't know. Like, this is a tough one here, right? Like, what is Malcolm Brogdon coming back to, Doc? You know what I'm saying? Anthony Simons is there now. Shaden Sharpe is cooking. Am I going to get 28 minutes off the bench from Brogdon doing his little line drive, push set shot, that little Brogdon shot that he's got that's so good. Or do I hang in there with Keyonte? I don't know. It's a tough decision to make, and I don't want to bog down our show with it. But just to give people the idea here, you're basically holding on to Keyonte George. Just move him to your IL spot or your IL plus spot and keep it moving here. But I obviously have a different decision to kind of go with here. Colin Sexton somehow was able to just pick him up in one of my leagues. I don't remember which one. And I think he had 26 last night. He is green lit here, guys. Clarkson's on the shelf right now. The Jazz are a team that's in tank mode. Their coach is spiraling out of control on the sideline right now. Will Hardy, that's a joke, by the way, but I did see him pretty hot last night in that Knick game, which, by the way, was a win for the Utah Jazz. Now, Doc, let's get to a Cam vetted guy. And I scooped him up in the Cam Dynasty last night. I dropped Isaiah Stewart for him. And his name is Tari Eason of the Houston Rockets. Okay. I love Tari Eason. In the pre-draft process coming out, I don't watch a lot of college basketball, but I watch highlight videos of these guys. And I watched Tari Eason. I was like, I love this guy. The activity, the length, the shot, the motor, the IQ. He is a two-end player. Ime Udoka freaking loves him, okay? He's a first-round pick, so we got draft capital, which creates an anchor to some minutes, okay? And over the last two games, he's got 25 and 14, a block and a steal, 3 threes. The game before, 18 and 14, 2 steals, 2 threes. He's a fantasy gold guy. He's a 3-block steal guy, all right? And Rudy Gay-ish, all right, for you old heads, can go back. Remember how good of a fantasy player Rudy Gay was? Tari Eason reminds me of Rudy Gay. He will jam it down your throat. He will give you that ooh-ah dunk. He's grimy. He'll get defensive stops. And I love him, Doc. And the only concern I have here is Amen Thompson, who has missed the last game, maybe the last 2 games. I think he's got an illness. And so he's going to play. But here's the thing. Jalen Green is on notice from Ime Udoka. We've seen the deployment or lack thereof. We've seen the minutes. We've seen the bad shooting lines from Jalen Green. Ime Udoka ain't playing that. He ain't playing that. If you are not in the foxhole, fighting like hell every minute of every game, I got somebody else that's going to do that, okay? And so I'm all about Tari Eason. Dynasty League for sure. I think Ken Kreitz might have dropped him. I want to actually look that up. And I love Ken, and I'm not like calling him out, but I'm just like, because I did him a favor with the Chris Paul thing, okay? That was a bad trade for your boy. It was. And so if I find out that Tari Eason was dropped by Ken Kreitz, I'm going to feel a little bit better about that currently grimy Chris Paul transaction right there. I hope I just poached through the waiver wire Tari Eason from the great Ken Kreitz. But anyway, Doc, I just wanted a long spiel right there. I freaking love this guy. And I think he's got staying power for the present and obviously the long-term future.
Well, he was sort of the centerpiece of my mailbag column today on RotoWire. There's 10 questions in this chat room about Tari Eason right now. I didn't know you were going to talk about Tari Eason. I just threw up a Tari Eason question from Dub Force, and it just so happened that you're talking about Tari Eason. Now, what I love about this question from Dub Force is I'm doing everything I can to get Tari Eason and Ausar Thompson on my team right now. So how do you decide which one of those 2 guys you want? I think I'm going with Ausar.
Yeah, me
just
too.
because Detroit's rotation is not as deep as Houston's. Ausar, they have nothing to play for in Detroit. There's no reason Thompson shouldn't just go off. So I think he's got an easier route to fantasy goodness. But Tari Eason, his last 2 games, 25 points, 14 rebounds, 18 points, 14 rebounds. But before that, it was 3, 9, and 6 points. The boards are there, 8, 8, 7. But he's really kind of blown up these last 2 games. And like you said, Amen Thompson was not playing in those. So I'm with it. I'm with you. I love Tari Eason. I'm going to try to pick him up where I can. I'm not going to cut somebody great to do it. And I would rather have Ausar Thompson over Tari Eason.
So I agree with everything you said right there. Here's the thing, guys. All we need is 24 minutes a game from Tari Eason. That's all we need. We don't need 30 minutes a game from this guy, okay? There are some players that are so wound up and so good that 24 minutes is going to ring the bell for us here. Are we going to get the full expanse that we want? No, but he's going to be legit for you. Look at his game log, okay? And I want you to look at every game where he plays 20 or more minutes, all right? Because that's the model here. Fat line, fat line, fat line, fat line. And it might not be a fat line. It might be like a a 10-point, 8 rebound, 2 assists, 1 block, 1 steal, 1 3 line, right? Okay, he's touching the box score in a multitude of ways. And then, but we still have this upside here about Ime Udoka and, how he's deploying guys and holding guys accountable. I think he's firm 24 minutes a game, guys. And I think he can help you even in that regard. Now, we talked about Ausar Thompson. Obviously, Doc, we've made this very, very clear here on the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. I love Amen and Ausar Thompson, okay? I would be buying their basketball cards if I were in that thing. And so I'm head over heels in love with both of these basketball players. And so, yes, if he's on waivers, your league is weird. Yes, pick him up. And he was out of the starting lineup, right? And now he's back in the starting lineup. And Monty Williams has the worst rotations in our league and has all year. And I don't anticipate that changing, but hopefully he just keeps Ausar in that starting lineup, which he should. Now, Doc, I know you want to talk about Ben Mathurin here, so take us into this conversation.
Well, I have a question for you first. Jalen Green, let's go back to him for a second. He's like 19th round fantasy value right now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you dropping Jalen Green?
No. His coach, here's what's going on.
Could you drop Jalen Green?
I mean, it depends on your team and what's on waivers, but just blindly with an open canvas, no, hell no. Here's what's going on, guys. We all know what's going on. All right, so let me address the elephant in the room here. The Rockets are good. Okay, they're no longer. Can we cuss on here? Probably not. They're no longer.
Just don't drop the big ones.
They're no longer an ishy team. Okay, think about it. Like Jalen Green, hotshot draft pick. Your team sucks. You're going to get all the shots, all the freedom you want. Yeah, you're going to put up good numbers. That ain't the case this year, guys. They brought in Brooks. They brought in Van Vliet. They brought in Udoka. They brought in Jeff Green. Okay, they're talking about through the papers bringing in another guy. All right. This is not, hey, let's showcase Jalen Green. This is, we're trying to win right now, kick everybody's ass right now. They're 3-1 against Denver this year, guys, okay? Ime Udoka does not care about Jalen Green's feelings. He does not care. This is not a daycare. This is not pre-K, okay? Ime Udoka's playing Tigers that are going to help him win, period. All right? So Jalen Green better get with that or his minutes are going to be weird. And, Doc, what it's going to take is the defensive end. He's got to crank up the defensive end, and then the offense will come. If Jalen Green thinks he's going to get back in Ime's good graces by putting the ball in the hole, he is so dead wrong, okay? Ime is old. I love Ime Udoka. I freaking love Ime Udoka. What a hire by the Rockets, man. So, anyway, no, I would not be dropping Jalen Green. Definitely hang in there with him, but he's in a weird spot. All right, talk to us about math.
Well, first we're going to talk about Underdog Fantasy being the #1 platform for NBA best ball and DFS player pick'em contests. If you have not tried Underdog yet, new Underdog users receive a first-time deposit bonus up to $100 and a free 6-month subscription to RotoWire with promo code RWNBA. That's promo code RWNBA. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog app today. Use promo code RWNBA to claim your free RotoWire subscription and deposit bonus. Rick, you know I love the band Pavement. I had my boy from Pavement, Bob Nastanovich, on the show on Tuesday. I mentioned Benedict Mathurin's name, and he went nuts. He's like, oh, my God, I love Mathurin so much. That's my guy. He's so awesome.
Is he a Pacer fan?
He is kind of a Pacer fan. Yeah, Pacers and Grizzlies he likes. But, yeah, he was all about Mathurin. He went into this soliloquy about how Buddy Hield is not playing all that well, and he's got that weird place on the team where, like, I think Buddy Hield knows the Pacers are going to be good, and he needs to be there to contribute, but he's also not happy about his role. And Mathurin is a guy that's standing in Buddy Hield's way. So I just think Mathurin, I think he had 30 the other night. He had a decent game last night, but Mathurin's just a guy that I'm pretty high on right now. I really enjoy watching him play, and I think he's going to be a pretty fun fantasy player for the next 10 years.
All right, so I agree with most of that, Doc. I'm a big Ben Mathurin fan. Pac-12 Player of the Year. The guy's a liquid bucket. Okay, and he is playing for Rick Carlisle. Needle on the record. That's the buzzkill. I love Rick Carlisle. I'm buddies with Rick Carlisle. I think he's an amazing coach. But he's old school and he's a hard ass. And
no, not anymore, baby. Not anymore.
What are you talking about?
Dude, they don't play defense.
Okay, let me. I
Rick
understand.
Carlisle's. No, he doesn't. He's fun, Rick Carlisle now. It's a new guy. We're not going to play defense. We're just going to go out and run with Tyrese Halliburton and Mathurin and Miles Turner. We're going to run as fast as we can and outscore the other guy every night. I don't care if they score 140 on us. We're going to score 150 on them. It's like a different guy. It's like he turned over a new leaf. I love this Rick Carlisle. I used to, you've heard the story, the shoe story, where he tried to sell me his shoes, treated me like he was mean to me in 1983 or whatever. I don't even care. I love the new Rick Carlisle, new and improved, fun Rick Carlisle. He's gone from being, grumpy like Thibodeau and old school to being super fun, like the dude, that 17-year-old kid that coaches the Miami Dolphins.
Oh my God. Okay, Doc. I mean, I like the rant. I did. And I like the Mike McDaniel reference. I love Mike McDaniel. I mean, what is with those like sunglasses he's wearing? They're like Elvis. It's so weird and so awesome. All right, now let's talk some real stuff here. Do you think Obi Toppin is happy with the minutes he's playing this year? Yes or no? Come on.
I don't know exactly the number of
the answer is no. Obi Toppin needs to get paid. Obi Toppin needs 30 minutes a game to get paid. Do you think Jarris Walker's happy with his playing time this year?
No.
Do you think Ben Mathurin is happy with his playing time this year?
I think Mathurin's okay with it.
No, he's not. He's coming off the bench behind Buddy Hield right now. There's no way he's happy with this. Is Nebhard happy with his minutes? No. And so the point I'm making here,
those guys aren't getting minutes anywhere else either. Obi Toppin played 6 minutes a game for the Knicks.
Okay, my point is they traded for him, right? And my point is Obi Toppin wants to play more minutes, right? And my point is that we want Obi Toppin to play more minutes so we can see what the hell we have here, right? Rick Carlisle has a super, super, super deep team, and he's trying to win. And if you are not like, let's look at Ben Mathurin here, the minute fluctuation, because I've got the last 5 game fluctuation here. He's
25, 37, 30, 24, 27, 25.
Okay. The points have gone 16, 9, 20, 30, 14. Pretty good. My point is, I love Ben Mathurin. I don't love his role right now. They got to get Buddy Hield up and out of there. Okay. They need to trade him to a contender that needs shooting, like the Lakers. And give Ben Mathurin 30 to 35 minutes a game. But he's not doing that right now. That's why I say Rick Carlisle's a buzzkill for fantasy, because he's got a Noah's Ark team. He's too deep at every position. And, my guy, Isaiah Jackson, right? I want to see Isaiah Jackson play, just like I said with dude before. I just need a half the game for Isaiah Jackson. 24 minutes a game. I'm telling you, this guy's flirting with double-doubles and giving you 3 blocks a game. In 24 minutes a game, guys. But Carlisle ain't giving that out. All right, so I'm not as hot on Ben Mathurin here. Let's go through some of our waiver wire picks here, Doc. You've got your list here. I came up with a few extra guys, so hit whoever you want to on your list right here. Sing a song for us, Dr. Ray, on the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast.
Well, I think Jaime Jaquez is not going away. You watch Miami play; he looks like a leader out there. Looks like a veteran. He's involved in everything they're doing. And I was a little worried that, when they get fully healthy, that Jaquez is going to go away, but I'm starting to think he's not going to go away. And then Bilal Coulibaly for the Wizards, he's not making noise. He's not in the headlines, but he's scoring in double figures every night. He gets steals and blocks. I mean, he's more helpful to fantasy teams right now than guys like Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Jalen Green. Speaking of Andrew Wiggins, I don't even think Draymond leaving can help Andrew Wiggins. So there you go. Have at it.
You are absolutely hilarious. Andrew Wiggins, look, I dropped him in the Cam Dynasty for Rui Hachimura. I was streaming last week to try to keep up with my opponent. It worked to a degree. I won the game 5-3, but I lost the two categories I was chasing, points and threes. It happens sometimes. And I was like, wow, I just dropped Andrew Wiggins for a streamer, and my streaming theory didn't even work. That hurt. And then I keep watching these Warriors games, and I'm like, Cam, you're good, bro. Don't worry about it. Sleep well at night. This guy is a shell of his former self. He is going through the motions. And he got benched the other night, right? So that made me feel a little bit better about it. What'll be interesting, Doc, is if he goes back to waivers in the Cam Dynasty and the decision I make there. And I tell you what, I ain't dropping Tari Eason to get back into the Andrew Wiggins business. I can tell you that right now. So my waiver wire is headed up here with Dante frickin' Exum, man. Dante Exum. He has been sensational in these games without Kyrie Irving. Guys, Kyrie Irving reportedly is in a boot and using crutches. Hello, is that ringing any bells? And DEFCON 1s for you guys, it is for me. Doesn't surprise me. Kyrie Irving is a game misser. You can't rely on this guy. He was on the dead to us list at the beginning of the season. You know, Doc and I talked about guys we absolutely positively will not draft. I haven't had Kyrie Irving on a fantasy basketball team in a long, long time. Dante Exum. The fourth quarter against the Lakers the other night should have been your cue. Where's my phone? Let me check the waiver wire in my league, okay? And if not, do it now. Dante Exum, premium pickup, blocks, steals, threes, rebounds. He is putting it all in the box score right now. Caleb Martin, all right? And when Hero comes back, and obviously we got this hip injury to Bam Adebayo, it'll be really interesting to see what Spoelstra does with Caleb Martin, Jaime Jaquez, and Duncan Robinson, and Kyle Lowry when he's got his big three back. And he's probably going to find enough minutes for all these guys because he's Spo and he's a badass. But we've talked about Jaquez before. I told you last week before, whatever. No. This guy's got staying power, man. He's got the anchor of being a first-round draft pick. I mean, we all love the Jaquez out of UCLA four-year guy to the Heat. I mean, give me a break, dude. It's a basketball match made in heaven. It's like Embiid in Philadelphia. It's just a great match, okay? But I really like what Caleb Martin's doing right now. He had a kind of a down last game, I think that Charlotte game the other night, but the previous games were packed with goodness, okay? Isaiah Hartenstein, if you're a little bit light in blocks, maybe you lost Evan Mobley, right? And you're kind of dealing without him for a minute. Go get Hartenstein. His lines are not going to wow you. He's going to be 1 or 2 blocks a game, 7, 8, 9, 10, and maybe plus rebounds. No threes, obviously, no steals. He's going to score 7 points a game, okay? But he's just doing dirty work stuff. And so if you need blocks, you need rebounds, and he's on waivers, he's the guy. And then we've talked about Eason and Kuminga. So, and you kind of went through, did you go through your whole drop list right here?
I didn't. You mentioned Duncan Robinson. I've got Duncan Robinson on there too. As far as an ad, I mean, Duncan Robinson has been fun. Tyler Hero coming back is gonna be interesting to see what happens. Getting the big three back together in Miami is not going to be easy, though. I mean, when are we going to see Bam Adebayo again, Rick? Like, he could.
They've said no timetable. So
the month of December is on the table. Like,
Bam said something recently. I've never had this injury before, so I don't know, and that's concerning, right? Because now he's going to be in his head about this, Doc, right? And it's a hip. So that, you know, like movements and twisting and all the reactive stuff, it becomes very, very difficult. So I have no idea, but it might be a minute here. I mean, the reports are there's no timetable for Bam Adebayo's return. That's not good.
I also want to comment on Kyrie Irving. You know, he had a foot problem coming into the season.
Good point.
He's been doing a decent job of playing through it and being out there on most nights. He's missed a few games. But I was like, okay, he's trying. Like, he's trying to make this work. And then the play that he got hurt on, dude, he was sitting on the court with his feet, his toes up in the air, and Dwight Powell just fell directly onto his extended feet. Like, when I saw that happen, if someone dropped you onto my feet like that, I would be on crutches for like 6 months. I'd be done. My legs would be broke and I'd be done. So I mean, I get that he's hurt, but he is hurt. And that's why Dante Exum and in some extent, JJ or Jaden Hardy is also a guy in a deep league that you want to think about. Guys I've got on my cut list right now.
That's a great point about Jaden Hardy, by the way. I want to co-sign that. I'm a big Jaden Hardy fan. He's a bucket getter. Go ahead, dude.
Marcus Smart with Ja Morant coming back in 6 days, 7 days. It's almost here, baby. I'm kind of fired up about the return of Ja.
Me too.
And JJJ, we were worried about Jaren Jackson Jr. for a second. That dude's balling out every night right now.
I've got this, Doc and Cam, on the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Shut up. Shut your mouth.
So Marcus Smart's already hurt. He's already down. If he's on your injured list, you just keep him there. But I don't foresee him bringing a lot of fantasy goodness with Ja Morant back. Cole Anthony with Markelle Fultz on the verge of a return. Anthony's kind of been waning lately anyway. He's had a couple of huge games, but he's also been all over the place. You can't really rely on him. I think it's time for him to go bye-bye. Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. We finally saw the big three along with Devin Booker last night for Phoenix. Eric Gordon missed that game. That was probably a mistake on his part because he may not get his role back. I don't know what his role is going to be now that they're healthy. So I'm fine with dropping Gordon right now. Derrick Jones Jr., bye-bye. Zach Collins is an interesting one, Rick. You mentioned that Wemby's the starting center now. You did not mention that Zach Collins is coming off the bench. The other night had 8 points and 3 rebounds. This is a guy that I was counting on for 15 points and 9 boards every night. And I don't think we're going to get that now that Wemby has taken over the entire world.
All right, so let me take these one by one. You said it with Marcus Smart. Just leave him on your injured spot. I actually disagree. I think Marcus Smart's going to be good. With Ja Morant, he'll do the 12-point, 5 rebound, 5-6 assists. His assists will come down from the Boston days. He'll be at 1.5 steals, I believe. And he'll hit probably 1.5 threes. I think Marcus Smart's going to do what he does. Just kind of he's not a waiver wire guy. He's not a great fantasy player. Somewhere in that middle ground. Totally disagree on Cole Anthony. I do not think he's a drop. Definitely hold him. They just paid him. He is guaranteed of minutes on this team. He is arguably the best 6-man in the game right now with Reeves and Naz Reid and who's the other guy? Tim Hardaway Jr. That's kind of the cluster for 6-man of the year right now. So I love you, but I disagree with you on that. Gordon, I agree. Derrick Jones Jr. is hurt all of a sudden. I agree. Zach Collins to me is a hold because Greg Popovich is just literally throwing crap against the wall and hoping it sticks. I love Pop. He's the greatest coach of all time, in my opinion, and he sucks this year with this team. I shouldn't say it that way. He doesn't suck. I just don't think he's doing a good job coaching this team. All right. It's very unorganized. We're changing lineups all the time. We're always resting dudes and Vassell off the bench. I just don't like it. Okay. Wemby's kind of just freelancing out there. Why don't we run offense through him all the time? I mean, what the hell else are you going to do? It's a developmental year. This is basically a season scrimmage for the Spurs. Anyway, off my soapbox. Collins is a hold. And so the drops I have, Doc, are Isaiah Stewart of the Pistons. And I just don't know what the Pistons see in this guy. And you look at it's 10 points, 7 rebounds, no defense at all. It's giving you about 1.4 threes, which from a PFC, all right. I mean, that's kind of helpful there. The percentages are not good. And it seems like the play and the production and the minutes are all kind of starting to dip. Because Monty Williams has taken a bite out of Jaden Ivey. He's taken a bite out of Killian Hayes. He's taken a bite out of Ausar Thompson. How dare you? He's taken a bite out of Jalen Duren to a degree. A huge bite out of Bagley and Wiseman. Cade Cunningham's good to go, right? But the only other guy that he didn't take a bite out of yet this year is Isaiah Stewart, and now he's starting to do that. And so the other guy is Russell Westbrook. And I love Russ, and I can't believe I'm telling you to drop arguably a Mount Rushmore guy for stat guys in the NBA. And we're talking about LeBron, Jokic, Wilt, and probably Russ. And I feel like I've got a name that's escaping me right now because, this isn't a Mount Rushmore that's talked about a lot, but the Mount Rushmore of stat guys all time in the NBA. Jokic has to be on that list. Wilt, obviously, he's the GOAT of stat guys, okay? The guy averaged 50 for a year and scored 100 in a game. LeBron, hello, 27, 7, and 7 every game of his life and the most points all time. And then Russ is the all-time triple-double leader and all the amazing stats he's done. Averaged a triple-double 4 out of 5 years. What? Anyway, take it from there, Doc. But Russell Westbrook, despite all of that glowing stuff I said, is a drop right now to me.
Oscar Robertson, I think you were forgetting. Maybe.
Yeah, he's right there. He's right there, man. Oscar's right there. It's a good call. Definitely a good call.
There's a gentleman playing for the Denver Nuggets named Julian Strawther. Dude went off on Monday night, 6 threes, 5 steals.
Yeah, that was the Hawks game. I was watching that game. He was everywhere.
That was amazing. And then he played well the next night. He's out of Gonzaga. He's put up back-to-back good games. He plays tonight. I don't remember who Denver plays tonight, but he plays tonight. Rick, I'm going to be watching the first half of that game. As Strawther goes off, I'm going to pick him up. I just feel like Denver, they could use some new blood in there. I just think he's a good player. You know, if Michael Porter Jr. would decide if he's going to score 30 or go 1 for 12 on any given night, that would really help us all out, I think. But
the basketball world and then the outside, the casuals got to look at that in the NBA Finals, right? I mean, literally the Nuggets won the finals despite Michael Porter Jr. He was not having a good run at that point. And then obviously in the playoffs, he had some big time games and that kind of thing. But Doc is right. I mean, he's on a yo-yo, right? He's on the great game, horse bleep game, yo-yo. But I'm a big Julian Strawther fan. He's not like a hot button pickup guy for me because Michael Malone is very hard on rookies. But here's the thing that Michael Malone needs to get over. He's got to play Julian Strawther half the game and just deal with the mistakes because their bench sucks. All right. They're at the bottom in bench scoring, or they're like 27th or something like that. And Strawther is a stud. He's got a wetter. He's active. He's long. Doc mentioned the steals the other night. And Malone's got to get him up to speed for the playoffs. The ball players tell me, Doc, when you're a rookie and you play a lot your rookie year, by the time you get to April and in May and June and that kind of thing, you're not a rookie anymore, right? You've been through a season. It's obviously kind of a ball player phraseology here, but you get the point. He's got to get Julian Strawther like that, where when he gets to March and April, he's like, ain't nothing but a thing, man. Whap right in your face, late third, 1-point game. Seeding on the line against OKC or something like that, and you're at OKC, whap, hit a big 3, timeout Thunder, right? Nuggets on a 9-1 run, something like that. He's got to get Strawther up to that level. And so I have Strawther in 30 deep, Doc, and he's just been chilling on my bench all year. And I've got a Josh Green issue right now. He's on the shelf. So I would love to put Strawther in the starting lineup for him. And depending on the results tonight and then over the weekend, next week, he'll probably be in my lineup.
If you have Strawther on 30 deep, you're going to be watching him closely tonight. Because if he makes it 3 games in a row tonight, like that's my sign. Like, okay, it's time to roll. If he disappears and crawls back under a rock, that's fine too. Rick, you want to answer a few questions?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna start and go ahead and you find your next one because you're not going to be able to help with this one. John Utterback wants to know, what is my voice regimen? When I woke up 2 hours ago, I could not talk. Like, you could not hear anything coming out of my voice. I was wondering if I was going to be able to do the show. Well, I went to Taco Bell. I got me a burrito. I covered that thing in Tabasco sauce. I sucked it down, drank a bunch of Gatorade, worked some things out, and here we are, baby. I'm back. Thank you, Taco Bell.
Well, I mean, that's quite the plug right there. It really was. I love me some Taco Bell. I get cravings, and I just got to have it. All right, so I'm glad we settled that, and I'm glad Doc is feeling better, and he got the voice quality up and all that kind of stuff. So let's go back. Where are we going here? Let's go back to the beginning here. What do we got here? We got Free Key. Let's bring up his comment here. What's up, fellas? Fantasy heathens. Bruce Brown, Shaden Sharpe, or Tari Eason. Gotta drop one in a 9 cat. Bruce Brown is your drop right there. To me, he's a reality player. He's not a fantasy player to me. I mean, he has spike games. And if you're wondering about streaming Bruce Brown, pick a big game. Okay. Pick a game against a rock star team. And that's a game where Bruce Brown rises to the occasion, but it gets tricky because we had that game last week, Doc, in the in-season tournament. But guess what? He had to guard Damian Lillard all night, okay? And that sapped his stats. So Bruce Brown would be the drop there for me.
Yeah, I think I already answered that in the chat, and I was all Bruce Brown all day on that too. A side note about the Pacers, dude. Giannis dropped 64 on them last night. Like, when you're setting your FanDuel lineup and the Pacers are playing, take everybody who's playing against the Pacers because they are going to torch them. And the same goes with the Atlanta Hawks. You want to play the big names against the Hawks and the big names against the Pacers because they are sieves. They don't care. They don't play D. It's just all day. Did I just override your question?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna let you do it. You run the question game here because I was setting up the next question, but you do it.
I have no idea what I'm doing though, Rick. So who's the priority ad with Draymond? That's not the one I was looking to add.
It's the one I just put up because I didn't know what we were doing here.
Well, we kind of talked about this already. It's not Wiggins. It is not Wiggins. For me, it's Podz. For Rick,
let's see here. The priority ad
for you, it's Chris Paul's already added.
For me, Kuminga. For me, it's Kuminga. Yeah, because I think Podziemski is going to ebb and flow with the shooting of Klay Thompson. We saw it the other night. Klay Thompson sucked again, and Kerr was like, bye, and he finished the game with Podziemski. But if Klay's on a heater and he's having a 27-point game and he's on a 9 of 13 and all this kind of stuff, then he's going to be in there, okay? So I like Poach, and I think he's a pickup, but with that question right there, Kuminga would be the guy.
Yo-Yo wants to know Derrick White and Max Strus for Pascal Siakam. I wouldn't mind talking about Pascal Siakam for a second while we're doing this.
Boy, is that tough. That's tough. Oh man, that's tough.
Give me the name. Give me the name, Rick.
What do you mean?
I want Pascal Siakam. I'll fill in the hole with somebody off the waiver wire. Make it work. I love.
Yeah, I'll rock with you. I mean, I'm a get the best player in a deal type of guy, and I think Siakam may be moved into a spot where he's more motivated and maybe more spotlighted. Because
Atlanta.
It could be Atlanta, yeah. Although that would buzz kill me significantly because if they trade for Pascal Siakam, Jalen Johnson, boo. I do not want Pascal Siakam traded to the Atlanta Hawks. I will be severely butthurt if Pascal Siakam gets traded to the Hawks. Just saying.
I want Siakam to come to the Hawks. I think the Hawks need a guy like Siakam. And
they're Jalen Johnson. This guy's a young rock star,
Jalen
bro.
Johnson's in street clothes, bro. They got DeAndre Hunter and Sadiq Bey running about. They got Sadiq Bey and no, DeAndre Hunter and Sadiq Bey. Get out.
Doc, you my man. All right, fire up another one here, Maestro. I agree with you, by the way. I'll package White and Strus to get into Pascal. I will do that. I will co-sign you on that.
Dude, these are all questions about Kuminga and Tari Eason. It's crazy. Here we go. How about who to drop if Marcus Smart is active? Brandon Miller, Tari Eason, Malik Beasley, or Max Strus? 14 teams.
Bees. Bees would be the drop there.
It is. I agree. And it's not even that. It's not that close. I mean, I'm not. Tari Eason his arrow's pointing up. Brandon Miller, he's too much of an unknown, too much upside to be throwing out. And Max Strus has had some big games, and he's got a big role in Cleveland. I think I kind of like Beasley, but Beasley will get you 3 points one night and 17 the next. It's whatever. What else we got here? See, we got one more, and then we're going to be at a 50-minute mark, and we can get out. Here we go, Rick. This is a good one. Trade Scary Terry Rozier while he's hot. What do you think?
No. I'm a Terry Rozier guy. Hey, guys, when is LaMelo Ball coming back to play? I'll wait. Hey, who are the backup 1 and 2 on the Charlotte Hornets? I'll wait. They got to have massive minutes and massive games from Terry Rozier just to literally have a competitive game in the fourth quarter. I am not selling high here with Terry Rozier. I'm holding him. I'm playing him. I'm getting the goodies. He's a fantasy gold guy, Doc. Big steals, big threes. My guy.
I am open to all discussions regarding Terry Rozier. If I had him and somebody came to me and said, hey, what do you want for him? I'd look at their roster and be like, this looks good. What about this? I agree. Like Terry Rozier is in the premier spot he could possibly be in on any NBA team and on any NBA roster. Like he's in the spot he needs to be in. And like you said, who are the backups there? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. That team has won how many games? How many games have they won?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. And nobody cares if they win or lose. Like it's just Terry Rozier's show out there. And LaMelo Ball, big baller. Not going to see him for a minute. Those shoes do some wonders on those boys.
Yeah, how are those shoes working out? I love LaMelo Ball too. It's
I do too. It's so sad.
I hope we're not going down basketball tragedy boulevard here, like we are with his brother Lonzo, who I loved as well.
Hey, we're doing one more. I lied because this one's too good. This is from Admiral Nita. Trade Michael Porter Jr. to get our guy 11 points a game. The weirdest dude in the NBA, Jordan Poole.
F no. Again, like if we're Barstool, I'm cussing around here. Like F no. Who wants anything to do with Jordan Poole right now? Arguably the worst contract in our sport. No motor. All pouted up in Washington. It's your team, dude. Or at least he says it's his team, which Kuzma's probably going, it's not your freaking team, dude. It's my team. Anyway, and by the way, he may be shut down here, Doc, right? For the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season as Washington tries to get better in the ping pong race. So ping pong ball race. So yeah, no.
Jordan,
I'm holding MPJ.
Jordan Poole last night, 3 of 12, 0 for 5, 14 points. Tyus Jones, your guy. Your boy, Tyus Jones, 13 points, 6 assists. It's just awful, man. It's so bad. Also, on a closing note, have you looked at the standings in the NBA lately?
What do you mean? Every day.
What is going on, dude? The Orlando Magic are in second place.
So my boys, watch yourself. Watch
the
it.
OKC Thunder
are my boys.
Second. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, what is happening?
They're playing defense, Doc. They have the best defense in the league. Rudy Gobert took his head out of his you-know-what. He's playing ball this year. Well, and Cat is healthy.
It's cool. I like seeing different teams up at the top. And definitely eye-opening when you look and see the rebuilding Orlando Magic up there. See this Pacers team that I love so much up there. Got the mini Timberwolves with a 2.5 game lead on the Nuggets and everybody else. Like 17-5. That's impressive. We never talk about them.
Well, because we're fantasy guys, but you're taking us into a reality combo here, and I like it. The Magic are the toughest team in the league. Okay. Joe Ingles blew a tire the other night, came back in the game and played. Paolo Banchero blew a tire the other night, came back in the game and played. Jalen Suggs blew a tire last week, looked really bad, came back after missing like 2 games. These guys are nails, man. Nails. They're tougher than your favorite team and your favorite players. I promise you that. They're the toughest team in the league, okay? I love the Orlando Magic. They're playing defense. They're balanced. You've got these rock star forwards. By the way, the whole Fultz thing, Anthony Black has to keep that starting job, okay? Like, let's not get it twisted. They're not winning a championship this year. Fultz is on an expiring contract. Black is an awesome glue guy who's just making all the puzzle pieces fit. I don't know. I don't need Markelle Fultz coming downhill on this team anymore. You got Suggs, you got Cole Anthony, you got these forwards. Wendell Carter Jr. somehow, some way is going to come back. Goga Batadze, by the way, has been a beast. A low-key beast for the Orlando Magic, and they have arguably the best bench in the league. I could go on and on and on and on and on. And this has nothing to do with me being 2 hours away from Orlando, okay? I freaking love this Magic team, and I would be saying that if I was in Nova Scotia.
Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Go to rotowire.com/try. Try RotoWire for free. Rick, we gotta get some swag to give away on the show. Remind me to do that. Is that magic? All right, with that, we are out of here. I'll be back on Tuesday.
Just saying, man. Just saying. You guys have a good one, man. Appreciate y'all joining us, man.
I'll be back on Tuesday with maybe a special guest, Mark Schwartz, formerly of ESPN. Said he's going to do it. We'll see. And then Rick and I'll be back next Thursday. Hopefully, I have a voice by then. Peace.